spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
Musk is leaving his government role as a top advisor to President Trump. He thanked the administration for the opportunity today, posting on his platform X. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is considering a move to ban government scientists from publishing in leading medical journals. During a podcast appearance, Kennedy Jr. said The Lancet, the New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA, and other journals are all corrupt, although the publications are consistently ranked as the top medical journals in the world. Kennedy alleged that they are vessels for pharmaceutical companies. New York City mayoral candidate and former governor Andrew Cuomo spoke to labor workers today, vowing to raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour if he's elected.
We organize the working men and women of this city.
He says putting more money in people's pockets will combat unaffordability and boost economic activity. Police are investigating 2 metal pipe attacks aboard MTA buses in the Bronx. The first attack happened around 2:30 in the afternoon on May 10th in the Morrisania section. Cops say the suspect shouted something before hitting the 31-year-old victim in the head. The second attack happened around 11:30 that night near Cortona Park, where the suspect allegedly got into an argument with an 18-year-old before hitting him in the head with a pipe. They have linked both cases. There's a growing backlash against ultra-processed foods and the companies who make them. Lisa G. has more.
A new federal lawsuit claims that food manufacturers are using the same master playbook that big tobacco used to get people hooked on food. As Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian, the director of the Food is Medicine Institute at Tufts University, tells the Today Show.
It really was about making foods as addictive as possible and starting with our children.
Experts believe there's room for a healthy change, especially when it comes to ultra-processed foods.
We should be able to make processed foods that are convenient, that taste good, that don't cost that much, and also don't make us sick.
Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says a new COVID-19 strain responsible for a large surge in China has arrived here in the U.S. It's an Omicron variant known as NB181, and it's been detected through airport screening programs for international travelers. The first cases showed up here in late March and early April, producing symptoms similar to earlier COVID strains. In sports this afternoon, the Mets fell to the Chicago White Sox 9-4. A little later on tonight, the Yankees play the Angels out in L.A., and from the WABC Weather Center tonight, rain tapering off to drizzle with a low of 56. Tomorrow, cloudy with a few scattered showers, the high 70. Friday, dodging raindrops again, clouds with a few passing showers, and the high 76 degrees. If you're a Knicks fan, this one's for you. The Port Authority, the team, and TNT are offering a free party, the free public viewing party of the Game 5 on Thursday at the World Trade Center. You'll have outdoor screens, a watch party, games, giveaways, food, and a whole lot more. 56 degrees, raining outside of our Midtown studios right now. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Now, this is Common Sense with Bill O'Reilly on 77 WABC.
Bill O'Reilly is on assignment. This is Anthony Cumia, and this is Common Sense, believe it or not. Welcome back. Having quite the time here, sitting in for the great Bill O'Reilly and his program Common Sense as he winged it off to China. And I can't wait to see what he did over there. Big, giant Bill O'Reilly in a country of tiny, tiny little people. So I'm excited about that. But here we are, yes. And I was just listening to the news prior to me popping on here. And it got me thinking, this new COVID strain, huh? You scared? Y'all scared of it? New COVID strain. I guess they're trying this old gag again. They they put a different word in front of it, maybe some more numbers. This is COVID C23S5. You know, oh, C23S5? Whatever shall we do? Truth be told, it's just another flu. If even that. I honestly, and I believe many people listening, don't believe anything they say anymore. Not a peep of what they say do I believe anymore. And whenever they come up with a new COVID strain, of course it's in China again, so they say. And they've checked with airport statistics. So I guess they look at people coming in and they say, hey, you look sick. Have you been to China? And then someone says yes, and they go, you're here in the U.S. Well, I guess now we have to put the word out that everybody in the U.S. is now vulnerable to get this unbelievable, deadly illness of COVID OU812. Or is it COVID 675309? Whatever number or letter they want to put after it, they want you scared. And here's what the bulk of what I was just thinking about when I heard this on the news moments ago. I believe anyway, that first COVID that we saw back in 2020 was a test. I think we all know that. I think we all do. There was the government really wanted to see how we'd react to a supposed emergency, and if we would be willing to throw away many of our rights because of some catastrophe that the government tells you was going on. I think a big part of it also was that they needed to throw some ropes at Donald Trump's legs and trip him up at the tail end of his presidency in order to win an election, or at least fake one. But all conspiracies aside, they were trying their best to petrify a nation and let's see how far we can push them. They're Americans, they're so full of their rights, aren't they? Ooh, you tell them that they can't do something and they turn around and go, these are my rights. I know my rights. But then let's really put it in action and give them an element of danger in it. That's what it is. Anyone could come to your door, a government official, and tell you need to do something. But if they put this other thing on top of it, hey, this is deadly. This is a deadly disease. And if you don't capitulate with what we're saying, you are killing innocent people. Remember that? If you went out without your mask on, it wasn't even something that was dangerous for you. If you didn't want the vaccine or you didn't want to put masks on, they didn't care about your health. They cared that you were hurting other people. And none of it made sense because, as we all know, if some other nut job is wearing a mask and you are not, well, aren't they protected? And if some buffoon decided to eat up everything the government was telling them and get vaccinated and get the boosters, or the people I do feel sorry for that were coerced and blackmailed with their very livelihoods into getting the shot, that hanging over people's heads was a little more of a push to make them say, well, I'm doing what's best for the people. And if the government tells me and doctors are telling me that I need to do this, then I should do it. And so many people did it. I read the other day, 81% of Americans got the COVID vaccine. And, a lot of people I've spoken to say that they got it because they were coerced into getting it. It was you get it or look for another job. And by the way, the job you got to look for is another job that says you don't have to have it, which were very rare in those days, unless you worked for me. I was one of the good ones. But truth be told, a lot of people got it. They didn't want to get it. And we threw our rights away. There were people cheering as law enforcement went into various gyms, clubs, restaurants that were saying, no, screw you. I'm opening. I'm running a business. I need to make a living. And American citizens were cheering that the police were barging in and dragging these people out of their places of business because they were endangering your lives. So I'd like to think, and I think I'm wrong, but I would like to think that maybe the mindset of American people have changed since then till now. And I do believe it in a sense, but I think more than believe, that we would tell them to screw off in a second if they come up with another COVID strain. COVID 8599.3 star date. Because we've been through it. We know the unbelievable negatives that came from that. Kids being kept from school, seeing their classmates' faces. Honestly, half a face. That's what kids saw. And no one could tell me that all the restrictions put on children during the COVID debacle didn't have some type of negative effect on kids. A lot of people, my own sister, she moved down to South Carolina from New York because she had a son, still does, and he was school age and didn't want that for him. She's like, oh, South Carolina, they'll let my son go to school, the school I pay taxes for, and want him to go and get an education that the government was telling you was dangerous for kids. Every strain of this COVID, youngsters were the most invulnerable to COVID. Healthy people, it didn't matter, but they told you, oof, you put that mask on, you get that shot. Don't go to work from home. Don't take public transportation. Remember, do we really have to bring it up again so people remember that they told you not to go to holiday dinners with your family, not to visit your elderly relatives? Do we recall all that? It was disgusting what they did to the American people. As, again, I believe was a giant experiment to see how far they could push us. How far will Americans go? They sure like clinging on to their rights, telling the government that, hey, we have the Second Amendment. You try any shenanigans, we'll pull some Minuteman stuff on you, and we'll fight. We'll fight against your tyranny. You'll fight. You'll put your mask on. You'll sit down. You'll visit your grandparents wearing saran wrap. And it was disgusting. But I'd like to believe, again, because the media was complicit in the whole thing, and people believed the media back then a lot more than they do now. But people went along with it, and I think now, having seen it in hindsight, we wouldn't react the same way. And when these news stories come up of a new strain of COVID, I would seriously like to believe that most Americans, and every reasonable, sensible American, would tell them to shove it if they ever tried anything like that again. I really hope that would be how we would react this time. We failed. The first COVID that we failed as free American citizens to standing up to American government, law enforcement, the medical community that the mainstream media propaganda wing of the left put out there. And we failed miserably. We folded. And I just hope that if they ever try to pull something like that again with some new strain, that we do rise up and do tell them to go screw, and we're not going along with this anymore. Susan is on the phone, and she wants to talk a little bit about the new pandemic. Susan, what's up?
Okay, so maybe the potentially new pandemic, they're just planting the seeds to lead us down the garden path. Mm. But this is extremely serious because I just want to go down some history here in New York State. We have on the books a compulsory quarantine law that there are encampments and that could, and I'm going to give you the rule. This was litigated a few times here, but it needs to go to the state Supreme Court. So right now, that there is this law, and it is referred to as Rule 2.13, which
that's the new COVID
Mike
variant.
Lawler and Chris Tague, George Borrello.
Susan, allow me to step in for a moment here. What you're saying is there is a rule on the books, or at least it will be on the books very shortly, that they do still have the power to quarantine people in New York State. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and that means by the military can come to your home and take you out of your home, and that we still have that dictator thing in the governor. And I think this is very serious, and I would love to send you this. May I please can I send you something that states it all? And I really think you're a great... Anthony Cumia, care of WABC Radio, New York City. There you go. I'll get it. One of my trips up there. Susan, thank you so much. I just wanted to get Susan's... Susan likes to be very specific in what she's saying on her phone calls. And I do appreciate that, Susan, because she's saying... And it is frightening that, you would like to stand up to the tyrannical government officials, especially with something like COVID, and tell them, no, we're not doing this. But they do have the military and the police behind them. And it seems futile to want to fight these entities. But, it helps if you have people in office that won't do these things. And if you keep voting in people like Hochul and Chuck Schumer, and you voted in Adams as the mayor in New York, and now, you're all clamoring over Cuomo, who, if you ask me, in my personal opinion, killed people during the COVID disaster by sending COVID patients to old age homes. Like the perfect storm for killing old people. And now he's in the lead to be your next mayor in New York City. Because why? Because you vote for him, dummies. So first thing you got to do is get over these politicians and start voting in people that will not tell you to stay home and wear a mask and get a shot. Vote in real human beings that understand what it takes to be a citizen in this country. We'll be back in moments with more of Common Sense. Anthony Cumia sitting in for the fantastical Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Back in moments.
W770 ABC.
Prescription drugs in America cost way too much, as you know, especially compared to other countries. That's because Big Pharma sets the rules and makes us pay the price. Thankfully, President Trump has just signed a new executive order to lower those prices, but change takes time. So All Family Pharmacy is stepping up and offering 20% off all meds. No insurance needed now through June 30th. Get more than 200 essential medications, including your daily maintenance meds, antibiotics, ivermectin, and methylene blue. All orders include a doctor's prescription and ship right to your door. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Use code BILL20 for 20% off all medications. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Code BILL20 for 20% off. Take control, save money, make America healthy again.
77 WABC, the crown jewel of talk radio. Heard worldwide in 173 countries and all 50 states. WABC is committed to live and local radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. See what 77 WABC can do for you and your business. Call 929-552-7175 and advertise with 77 WABC.
Crime at an all-time high, so you might already own a firearm. But less lethal options can avoid the financial and mental repercussions of pulling the trigger of a gun, like Byrna's less lethal launchers, designed to incapacitate attackers with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. Even better, Byrna just announced their all-new compact launcher. It's the same size as a smartphone, fires at 400 feet per second to deliver a hit like a sledgehammer. The compact launcher pairs maximum concealability with maximum force. Plus, more than 80% of its components are sourced right here in the USA and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Byrna is legal in all 50 states, requires no background checks, can be shipped to your door and trusted by police departments and government agencies worldwide. So please visit Byrna.com today. That's BYRNA.com.
Talk Radio 77 WABC. This is Common Sense with Bill O'Reilly on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
It's Anthony Cumia in for Bill O'Reilly. Common Sense. Thank you for tuning in. I was talking last night about people with no common sense, zero common sense, Hollywood, celebrities, these people that were adored for a century, longer than a century at this point. You know, back in the old days, hey, hubba hubba, we're going to the movie theater. Those were celebrities, as they say they are now, but we don't care about them anymore. They opened their mouths. They exposed what garbage they are, and we don't have the same feeling we did that we're watching people that might just be a little better than us. That was the old days. Now you see them for what they are. They're elitists behind ivory towers, and they are telling you how you are supposed to live your life. Isn't that nice? People with armed security. They tell you you have no right to carry the best tool available to protect yourself and your loved ones, a firearm. They tell you, no, guns bad. Everyone guiding them into their giant escalade is armed. Politicians, same thing. But the Hollywood elite, they tell you who you are supposed to live around, who you should cohabitate with. How dare you wanting to move to a neighborhood where people are like you, perhaps the same race, religion, and you want to live amongst people that you have something in common with, freedom of association. Well, from their lily white gated communities, they will tell you that you need to live amongst thugs. And maybe if your car is parked down on the street, the window gets busted and everything gets stolen, or you got to worry about walking down the sidewalk to your house. But that's what they tell you you're supposed to do. While, again, they live in areas that are miles and miles away from any threats. So once they started doing that, we really looked at celebrities like, go screw yourself. But there's another thing that I'm just captivated with the celebrities. Because statistically, this doesn't make sense. There are so many transgender children of Hollywood celebrities that it just mathematically does not make sense. If you look and see how many children are transgender, now, regardless if you even believe that or not, I, for one, do not believe that children can make a decision to be transgender. If that's even a real thing at any point. I've talked about this in the past, and I believe that there are certain anomalies where somebody, say a guy, is born and something, I don't even think we could figure it out scientifically. Something genetically was amiss, and they were supposed to genuinely be a woman. And they live their lives trying to live as a woman. And genetically, they look the part, they act the part. This is some medical anomaly. The vast majority of people, I believe, that consider themselves transgender, I think it's a way to seem popular, seem vulnerable, especially kids. They talk about the unbelievable increase in transgender kids in school. And think of it this way. Many, many years ago, if you were a guy and you even acted a little feminine, the slurs were tossed at you, beatings, you were bullied, and it was probably quite a terrible existence for a young lad in school. Nowadays, there has been this, like in the hundreds of percents of an increase in the amount of transgender students in school. And you have to look and think about the psychology of school kids, school-age kids. Acceptance is a huge part of being a kid in school. You don't want to be an outcast. No matter how much school kids tell you they want to be individuals, they want to be part of the group. It's what you did. You hung out with the people that appreciated you in school. And transgender these days is a group of people that are looked at and idolized. The staff in the school take extraordinary steps to make sure they are safe, secure, comfortable, loved. And who wouldn't want that? Now, you think about it. If you're some kid in school that's not popular, maybe you are being bullied, maybe you're not even being bullied, maybe you just can't make any headway with any group in the school. You're a loner, you're freaky. Everyone remembers kids like that in school. Now, you go home, you put on a little dress and a wig, and you go into school, and you are one of the most, you're like an American Eagle or a Black Panther, the cat, not the troublemaker. And people look at you and go, oh, amazing. They look at the parents and go, how brave, what courageous, brave, wonderful parents. They're so tolerant. And everyone is an angel around this transgender student. Is the kid transgender? I don't know. I doubt it. I think a lot of people, especially younger like that, see it as a way to be protected and looked at with almost envy by some people in school, and absolutely get protection by the faculty at that school that they never would have gotten as just some loner that occasionally gets, smacked in the head by the cool kids. Now, you look at the other end of it, these Hollywood celebrities that I have been talking about here that have decided they want to adopt kids or they want to give birth to kids, and somehow the percentage of transgender kids adopted or born to Hollywood celebrities is, like I said, inconceivable. Mathematically, it does not work out. So what is it? Is it the mommy dearest syndrome where they're just doing it in order to get publicity? Is it another thing like the Munchausen by proxy syndrome? That I think I think transgender parents of transgender kids, it's a new type of Munchausen's by proxy syndrome, whereas kids were poisoned or injured by the parent just so the parent could bring them to the doctor or the hospital and get that attention and sympathy that a parent of a sick child gets. It's one of the most disturbing mental illnesses that are out there. And everyone looked at it as a disturbing mental illness. I absolutely believe that the majority, not even some, the majority of parents of transgender kids that are below the age of puberty, I'll even give them that much, below the age of puberty, that these parents are no different than any other parent that had Munchausen. I cannot see that they are not doing this for attention. And the troubling thing is it's not looked at like Munchausen was. It's not frowned upon. And the police don't arrest the parents. They would arrest the parents at the hospital. Oh, my God. We saw on the closed circuit TV, she was cutting off the oxygen to her daughter's hospital bed. And the doctors came in and realized, oh, my God, this woman's been making this child sick. They go to jail. But you could have a parent of a transgender child that could do anything. Hormones, mutilation surgery of their children. And they're lauded for it. They're celebrated for it. So that sets an example to other parents that are off their rockers, if I may be so bold and use such harsh language, that they could do this and get that attention. And, anybody that tells you that a child, a prepubescent child, can decide that they are one gender or another is out of their mind. There are so many kids that you see growing up and they have no interest in any type of gender related hobbies or they don't like, you're a guy, you don't like girls. You're a girl, you don't like guys. You're a tomboy. You're a guy and you're more interested in your microscope and telescope than you are girls. That was me for quite some time as a kid. Until you go through that puberty phase and hormones kick in, you don't know anything about your sexuality. And to think there are doctors willing to give medication and perform surgeries on these children is criminal. And they're, again, celebrated for this. So, I would be called, obviously, a transphobe for even bringing this up. I personally don't care. I've been called many, many things during the years that I've been broadcasting. I've been put into exile, broadcasting exile for many things I've said until the wonderful folks at WABC Radio pulled me out of exile and brought me back. And I do appreciate that. But getting back to the Hollywood thing, let's look at this list of celebrities that have at least one. By the way, some of these have more, like the top of the list, Charlize Theron, beautiful South African actress, Charlize Theron. She has kids, multiple children that are transgender. Now you want to talk about mathematical anomalies and impossibilities. The fact that you would have more than one transgender kid tells me you are a problem. You have a mental illness and you are influencing these children to become transgender. So how do we look at these people and celebrate them? It's disgusting. Cynthia Nixon, a lesbian. She was on Sex and the City, the redhead one. She has a transgender. Oh, amazing. She's gay. And coincidentally enough, she's got a transgender kid. What are the odds? What are the odds? 0. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Jamie Lee Curtis. Alleged hermaphrodite. I don't know. I always thought that story was funny. That's sort of like the story of the gerbil. What's his name? But Jamie Lee Curtis, Marlon Wayans, Ali Sheedy, Cher. I think Cher's kind of the pioneer in transgender kids. Chaz Bono, used to be Chastity Bono, who used to see Sonny and Cher trot out Chastity Bono during the Sonny and Cher variety show. And a cute little kid. And then, Chaz, big chin beard and suspenders and fat trucker cap. You got to wear the costume if you're cosplaying the part. Cher also, by the way, this is somebody that was constantly on social media telling people how they should think and behave and who they should cohort with and everything. And she has one transgender child, and then the other kid that she had with Greg Allman is just lost in space. Drug addict, homeless, a mess. Her, like Rosie O'Donnell, they want to tell you how to live your life and how to raise your kids, and every one of their kids is a disaster. Sade, Annette Bening, Jennifer Lopez, Angelina Jolie, another one that adopts kids, and all of a sudden, what a coincidence. I adopted a kid out of nowhere, picked one out at random, and they just happen to be transgender. Oh, I'm not pushing them that way. I'm not influencing them in any way whatsoever. Liv Shriver, Busy Phillips, Ali Sheedy, Cynthia Bailey, Sigourney Weaver. Aren't these broads too old to even have kids? I thought they was too old to even have kids. I thought their uterus fell out. Now they're getting these transvestites. Thank you, Dice. It's just the odds that this would be a natural occurrence are out of the question, impossible. Yet, it's happening. And no one says anything about it, except me, right here on Common Sense. And we will be back with Common Sense in moments. Anthony Cumia filling in for the great Mr. Bill O'Reilly. We'll be right back.
Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Hey, homeowners, if you haven't checked your home's title, a.k.a. your legal proof of ownership, it could already be stolen. Scammers target your equity, steal your title by forging just one document. Then they can take out loans or sell your home, all without you knowing. So you need to find out today if you are already a victim. Use promo code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report, plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. So please go to HomeTitleLock.com now and use promo code BILL. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL.
Cars for Kids means no more stressing over your old vehicle. Donate it today and get it picked up tomorrow. It's the easiest service out there. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Dominic Carter, City Hall.
Carolyn Levitt, what do you say to the Trump haters that no matter what, he's saving money and finding fraud, but the AOCs of the world, they're still hating on him no matter what he does? What do you say to them?
To the Democrats who are whining and complaining about the cost-saving measures of DOGE in this administration, they should go back and take a look at what their own party's leaders have said. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Chuck Schumer himself have vowed for cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. They all campaigned on this. The only difference is President Trump is the first person to do it. And they just don't like it anymore because it's Donald Trump doing it. But they should go and look back at the statements from their own party leaders. And President Trump won't be deterred by people whining and complaining. He's going to continue to do what the American people elected him to do, which is make this government more efficient.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors.
Talk Radio 77 WABC. This is Common Sense with Bill O'Reilly on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Finally, some common sense. Of course, Bill is away, and I am filling in, Anthony Cumia. You can catch my show if you enjoy what I'm doing here. I am on WABC Radio every Sunday night from 8 to 11 p.m. And it's more, if I may use some harsh language, hijinks and shenanigans like you're hearing here during my tenure for a week hosting Bill O'Reilly's Common Sense. So I do the sport, and I wonder how anybody is left in the state of California. How is there a single person left in that state? Maybe, all right. More importantly, the people that have a couple of brain cells, a couple of sparking synapses in their head, maybe some money, some wealth that they want to hold on to and utilize for their retirement, maybe that terrible thing of passing it on to their kids. But California, just every story that comes out of there is insane. None of it makes sense. And it's just rewarding terrible behavior, laziness, and anything exceptional. Anybody that does something good, any idea that takes a little bit of effort is looked down upon, looked at as a terrible, terrible thing. Because, again, you got to have equality. If somebody is exceptional, that means there's a bunch of people that aren't. And that's not very nice, is it? They need to feel exceptional. When I was going to school way back in the Little House on the Prairie days, I tease, of course, there were exceptional classes. I never went to one. None of my friends ever went to an exceptional class. We made fun of them because that's all we really had as ammo against the exceptional students. They were nerds, geeks, dweebs. They weren't cool. You know what they were? Exceptional. And they were treated as such by the schools. They realized, oh my God, look at this prize we have. There is a kid here that is so amazingly advanced in their ability to learn that we can't hold him back. It's a sin, like holding back a thoroughbred. Let's put him in an exceptional class. And then the class had a few students. They were all exceptional. Weirdos. We called them weirdos too. But we understood. They were able to handle the schoolwork a little easier than we were. Whatever we called them. Well, you know what happened over the course of the years? The parents of the other kids started getting mad that the school didn't think their kids were exceptional. They found it offensive that the class and these kids were called exceptional. My little Johnny is also exceptional to me. Why should I have to look at a classroom of kids that have been labeled exceptional when I know my child is exceptional? Your kid's an idiot. He's a little dummy. Hopefully he knows how to dig a hole when he gets out of school, because that's all there is in his future. But they were so angry at the prospect that there were kids that just were smarter than your little angel. And while they should have been told to, F off by the administration looked and said, maybe we are hurting some of these parents and kids. Maybe the kids, if they don't think they're exceptional, they won't work to be exceptional. When the truth of the matter is, they could never possibly be exceptional. So they made a big to-do about it. And what did they do? Eliminated the exceptional classes. They just got rid of them. That was dubbed equality. And all they did was lower the bar to the level of the lowest common denominator. Now it's equal. But you have these exceptional students that are being pushed down. You lower the bar, you got to put it over their heads and push their heads down because they are exceptional. And this continued to this day. It has not stopped, the lowering of the bar. And it's done a lot of damage. I mean, go anywhere and try to get any type of customer service in a store. Try to order something in a fast food place. You are talking to people that are not exceptional. But they were given, the bar was lowered to the point where they believed they were. And they should be treated as such. And now we are dealing with that lowered bar and what it wrought on our country. Well, California hasn't stopped. There's something now called grading for equity. Grading for equity, with a D, not a T. This is supposed to make schools better. This will make it so more students pass and graduate school. Does it really matter at this point if they're graduating when they're learning absolutely nothing? A lot of these kids can't do the most simple spelling or reading. So here's what this entails. The San Francisco Unified School District is enacting this immediately, but it has been enacted in some other places in, of course, California. Eliminate homework. There will be no homework. And if there is, if a teacher still wants to give homework, not handing in any homework will not affect a bit of your grade. This is real. I never did my homework. Did I tell you I wasn't in the exceptional class? I didn't do my homework, and I paid dearly for it. I got really lousy grades. Eliminate weekly tests. Remember how at the end of the week there'd be a quiz or a test? Eliminate that. You don't need that anymore, where grading for equity is put in place. And by the way, a lot of this is based on race. They've noticed that a lot of students of color are not performing well in these schools. Now, we could all get together and argue the reasons for that, but it is a fact that they are not performing as well. So to take care of that problem, what they do again is just lower the bar. If you make everyone able to pass and get spit out the other end with a diploma, high school diploma, then it's equity. That's equity. Not making sure the people at the bottom come up to the level of learning and make that the part that's equal. We all learn something, and there's the equity. No, bring everyone down and make sure it's equal at the bottom of the barrel. And this is how California sees its educational system. The fact that Donald Trump wants to do away with the Department of Education is fantastic. They have done nothing to help students in this country. Allow for late assignment hand-ins. So, that assignment is due Wednesday at the end of class. All right, I'll bring it in Friday. All right, that's fine. You'll still get an equal grade as the kid that did bring it in on time. You got it? See how this is working? Allow students to skip class without affecting grades. I'd have been an A+ student. I skipped so many classes, and I paid for it. I did not get grades, good grades. But now you don't even have to show up. What do they want you to do? Like, that's an interesting concept. What would they want you to do to pass the class? Getting an 80 out of 100 is an A. That's now the new A. If you just get 80, which I believe was a C, a C back in the day, it's now an A. And allow students to pass, which would be a D. Allow students to pass with a grade as low as 21. A 21 out of 100 is a passing grade. I believe a 65 was the absolute bottom you could get and still pass a test or a grade or your class for the year. But that is grading for equality. Make it equal, but at the bottom. So everyone's a piece of garbage instead of trying to bring people up and actually figure out a way to teach people effectively and make that equal bar at the top. We are losing as a nation, and the education system in this country is driving it at breakneck speeds. We'll be back in moments with Common Sense. Anthony Cumia in for Bill O'Reilly.
WABC. All right, folks, let's talk about the timeshare nightmare. If you are stuck paying endless maintenance fees, special assessments, it is time to call my friends at Lone Star Transfer. With more than a decade of experience, they lead the way in the timeshare exit industry with exclusive solutions. Lone Star Transfer makes timeshare exits quick, easy, and guaranteed in writing. Over the past 15 years, this family-owned company has helped more than 30,000 owners break free from their timeshares. They have earned an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star reviews. I've endorsed Lone Star Transfer for more than 5 years. Now, because they are the only company that I trust to deliver results for my listeners. For a free consultation, please call 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or you can visit LoneStarTransfer.com.
Talk Radio 77 WABC. Dominic Carter. Entertaining and informative.
Never forget our debt to the men and women in uniform. We certainly know what we owe to them. Their valor gave us the freest, greatest, and most noble republic ever to exist on the face of the earth. A republic doing so well.
Dominic Carter. Weeknights at midnight. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Did you know that Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the USA? with thousands of different plants and more than 2 million happy customers. They have all the plants your yard needs, like fruit trees, privacy trees, shrubs, and much more. Whatever plants you're interested in, Fast Growing Trees has you covered. Just order online, get your dream yard delivered right to your door. And this spring, they have the best deals, up to half off on select plants. Plus, my listeners get 15% off their first purchase when using code BILL at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com with code BILL at checkout. Now is the perfect time to plant. That's fastgrowingtrees.com. Don't forget, use code BILL to save. Offers valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply.
Talk Radio 77 WABC. This is Common Sense with Bill O'Reilly on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
And this is Anthony Cumia filling in for Bill O'Reilly. And I appreciate your support and tuning in. Thank you. This story got me. It's one of these just kind of strange things to think of. John Tyler was the 10th president of the United States. John Tyler was born in the 1700s. He was probably like 1790 something. His grandson just died. His grandson just died in 2025. His name was Harrison Tyler. He died at 96 years old. And he was John Tyler's grandson. You think about a guy that was born in the 1700s and his grandson died in what would be perceived as the future to the... Imagine telling someone back then in the 1700s, early 1800s, what 2025 would look like. And then you're saying your grandson will be alive then. You must think there's been some kind of a medical breakthrough where people don't die until they're 100 years old, 300 years old or something. But this guy lived that long. I guess his father was 75 when he had him. And President Tyler was 63 when he had Harrison's father. So obviously a lot of late shenanigans going on in their lives. But it's weird when you think like that seems so long ago, and it's literally one person separating the guy's father. I'll bring myself into this. I once, many years ago, met Groucho Marx when I was probably 11 years old, and I shook his hand. Groucho was born in 1890, and I shook the hand of a guy born in 1890. And if you think about it, if a person was 91 years old and picked up a newborn Groucho Marx, they would have been born in 1799. And there would have been one person, Groucho Marx, separating me from someone born in the 1700s. It's pretty incredible when you think about it in those terms, isn't it, people? Or I am so effing old that only 1 degree of separation could separate me from somebody born in the 18th century. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow, filling in for the great Bill O'Reilly on Common Sense. Tune in to my show Sunday nights right here at WABC Radio, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. We do have fun when we pop on. And we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m., filling in for Bill O'Reilly on Common Sense.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour.
77 WABC News starts now.
56 degrees and raining on this Wednesday, May 28th. Good evening. I'm Lisa Ritchie. A 3-judge panel of the Court of International Trade has found the president did not have unlimited power to levy tariffs and struck down Trump's global tariffs as contrary to law. The Trump administration is expected to appeal the decision. The Trump administration is pausing new student visa applications as the administration considers requiring foreign students to undergo social media screening. Zilin Ma, who is graduating from Harvard with a PhD, says he's concerned that he'll have to return to China instead of doing his postdoctoral work on AI here in the U.S.
International students, we have followed every rule. We got our visa. We passed all the background checks.
It isn't clear how the social media vetting would work or what it would screen for. Elon Musk is not happy with President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
Musk is leaving his government role as a top advisor to President Trump. He thanked the administration for the opportunity today, posting on his platform X. According to a new poll by mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo has 44% of the vote, while Mamdani has 27%